Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So for today's reading, I got a few readings lined up, and I got the decks all lined up, and I wanted to kind of work my way from there and to the closer one. But Spirit's kind of making me work backwards, and so for this reading, we're gonna use the Hermetic Tarot. We're going to use the Magician's deck, and then we're going to use the Citadel, a fantasy oracle. And so I wanted to do this one last, only because every time I use these decks, they seem to be very powerful. I always get like an intense message. I want to kind of like work my way up, but Spirit is kind of pushing me the other way to do it first, get it over with. And so when I was shuffling, I kind of picked them up. The intense energy came, and I felt very exposed. I felt very vulnerable. I felt like sad, kind of scared energy come through. And then when I was shuffling on the Hermetic, oh, there it is, on the Hermetic Tarot, the Chariot came out. I shuffled these right back in, and then the Wheel came out in this one. So it was like something about changes or something like that. So a lot of wheels and movement, and I think it's going to be about vulnerability and kind of being exposed about something. So let's just shake it up and see what real message wants to come out. But it's a little bit uncomfortable. So which ones do we start with? The Hermetic Tarot. So as I'm shuffling these, I'm being drawn to how this deck is only black and white. So the wheel, change, black and white. I feel like it's a belief or perception on something. It's going to be like almost like a worldview, like how you view the world. How many am I supposed to get? You said 4 or 5. And so I've got 2 right now. 3. 4. Do I feel like 5? No, I don't, because 2's coming with that. Under the deck, that's what it is. Okay. Under the deck, we have Ace of Pentacles. And that says, Lord of Roots of the Power of Earth. Lord of the Root of the Powers of Earth. Dang, I as I did that, especially with like the Magician's deck, I heard almost like a Gandalf or like this really, really powerful like command. Almost like thou shalt not pass, but it wasn't that because it's wheels and it's movement. And look at this. It's almost like here, all of these are in straight lines. And this is, I see this as a turning piece, like a key up. And then it changes different layers and dimensions and scenarios. So Ace of Pentacles, something new, and especially as this says, Lord of the Root of the Powers of Earth. I'm going to take this because I'm going to forget this. Where are we going to keep the decks? Over there. So to start off, we've got the 4 of Swords, which is the Lord of Rest from Strife. So 4 of Swords is all about not appreciating what you have. It's like looking at things and not enjoying the way. And as I said, this was like a world view or a world perspective of something. So not looking... Okay, I see mostly the fists coming out. It's more like fighting for a cause or something. As this said, rest from strife. You see injustice, like you want to fight it. The next one to come out, I feel like more on that story, but I kind of want to show all these ones first. Then the next one is in reverse, but it is the Knight of Wands. So quick movement, right? Knight of Wands is all about like rushing into action without thinking, whereas this 4 of Swords is telling you to kind of like think about how you want to go about this. It says Lord of Flames and Lightning. Rather than coming in Lords of Leaping, why am I being drawn to a partridge in a pear tree? I don't know. I feel like it might come back. There's more into that message about the 12 days of Christmas. Anyways, so here, and I'm hearing sugar plum fairies. This one is telling me sugar plum fairies, because normally in the Four of Swords, it's someone in bed and they're up at night, right? And then a peaceful, restful person, right? They'd be dreaming of sugar plum fairies. And then instead they're like up and they're like, how can I fight this? Like, what? This isn't fair. This is unjust. I do not believe that it's just not fair. And I'm hearing someone be like, but life's not fair. And it is all about like lessons and growing and things like that. But I do feel like there is an abundance of resources and that someone doesn't need to suffer unless they choose to. What do I mean by that? Sometimes there is a lesson that you need to go, and you need to go the hard way, right? And then you walk yourself through that soul lesson. But I don't think that, you know, things are like, oh, you're just born into it and that's just the way things are. I don't know. I don't believe none of that. Why is that even coming up? Because it doesn't matter what I think. But that's kind of the energy of it. So the next one to come out is, what the? That's a creepy ass picture. I didn't look until I saw it on camera. But it's the Queen of Swords. And so it says, Queen of the Thrones of Air. And I don't know about you, but the fact that she's just holding a severed head just kind of really gave me like, ooh. And what's the next one to come out? That's what I mean. Like these cards, I always get like a crazy intense story. But as this one said, this one's like tapping into like the power of Earth. I almost feel like this one is like giants and they're like trying like a David and Goliath kind of story. I'm also, it could be like a giant corporation or something like that. And then the next one to come out is the Seven of Pentacles. It says Lord of Success Unfulfilled. And now I'm seeing that fist. But look, they're collecting weeds and tumbles. And it's almost like each one of this is a gear. I almost see like a cog in a factory or something, right? The machine runs. And they're like, nothing could stop it, right? Man versus machine. And they're showing it as nature always taking over. You forgot nature. And I guess man does fall into the category of nature. So something to think about. And so here, yeah, it's like the man brought that, which brought the nature, which brought the earth element. And the earth element is talking about this Lord of Roots. Hey, roots! Those are root. I knew that this card was important. But look, the roots are kind of coming in and jamming this. And these can no longer flow in the way that it is. And by doing so, the Queen of Swords is all about not emotions, right? And that's why this Knight of Wands is all like, Knight of Wands is like, take charge. And it's like, this one's like, no, I'm not emotional. I've thought about this. I've stayed up night after night after night. And I said, why? Why, universe? Like, this makes no sense. This energy needs a little bit of rest. Rest from strife. But you know what? It is, this is a quick little message, but it's like, the thing that's bugging you, the injustice that you see in the world, it does exist. It happens, and it's going to happen if you're awake or asleep as well. So you do need to take some time to kind of like calm your mind and make sure that you are getting the proper rest that your body needs so that you can wake up and go out there. I am now seeing my hand. Someone told me, they're like, you talk with your hands so much. And I was like, but how do you not tell the story with your hands? Right? So all I saw on the camera was whoop-de-woos. So yeah, we've got roots. We've got nature kind of coming back and taking, and that's what I'm seeing now. I'm almost seeing as like the giant head, as a giant, that I keep getting like corporation or company or something like that. And it like, you know how like corporations have like their own entities and things, like but they're not real. It's not like a real person like you or I. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing, is like these things kind of man versus machine kind of things, like these non-existent people growing and having all these say and things like that. Well, it's like man's going to take it back. Man's going to get this Ace of Pentacles moment. Because that's what I said. I felt like it was Gandalf. Hey, look at this. So as this is here, and it keeps going, there's like all these little blooms, and they haven't quite even, like, all that's happened is just the plant has grown in between them. And I see it almost as if, like, all right, we've twisted and turned and we're in place. Everything right now is in place. And all of a sudden, this next card is it. See how they're bloomed? And it's almost like, imagine that even just these little bit of twigs, hey, twigs, that's what I saw. These kind of getting in between the gears. Yeah, that one almost could have aligned. You could do it. I see it almost like it's already like a tight fit, and it's like already kind of like grinded the gears and everything. And I see that it's stopped. It stopped momentum. And so that's the funny thing. I see everything being like, all right, like you think you can win this or whatever, but we're just gonna go contact our lawyers or something, or get you guys out of here. Like, we're just gonna go, no, not lawyers, gardeners, and we're just gonna weed out the weeds. And I'm hearing like, this is like a thistle. It's almost like dandelion, like strong and evasive. That's what man is. And in the past it's been for negative, but I feel like in this one it's for positive. And the funny thing is, it's like, all right, it's a minor inconvenience at this moment, but what's going to happen when everything just starts to actually thrive? Everything starts to bloom. That's where this Ace of Pentacles comes. This is like new opportunity, new life. This is stopping. Oh, this one goes over here. Stopping the karmic loop and the cycles, and now almost taking the energy back. No more controlling others. And it's just weird because it just keeps showing it as like showing the people with like rights, and then almost showing like the company as a person who has even more rights. And that doesn't make sense because they're not people. They're not real. But there's been a lot of energy built up in it. But machine, money, and gears is just one layer, one aspect, right? One ring of the whatever this is. It's, man and nature will always thrive. But sometimes we can be a little bit in self-doubt, a little bit less empowered. But right, even just this without the blooms has caused friction. Imagine if you actually tapped into that source and had it feed you. Well, it's going to destroy the machine, not just stop it. So I did do the Magician's deck, and I got two. I got Inner Temple, and I got Seclusion. And they're saying we're a bottom of the deck type of day. So here we have Weaver of Creation in reverse. I keep hearing the whole purpose was to stop you from thinking that you are even capable of creating your dreams, even though it's your energy and your source and imagination that fuels everything. I'm seeing her sit on here, and it's almost like out in the universe, just like swinging. And it's like I hear her singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and here's all this energy coming from her, all her wishes and dreams and creation. It's mostly imagination. It's just that energy that comes off, aura kind of thing. And she creates as she swings. She goes this way and then she goes back. The swing doesn't really go this way, I guess. And that's what I got with Inner Temple and Seclusion. It's wanting you to say, go back to these thorns. You're like, oh, you're just a a pain in my side. You're a thorn in my side. You guys are annoying, right? We look at everything that we do for you. And then it's almost like they create the problem, but then they kind of come in another way with a solution, even though they are the problem as well. And so they think that they can trick both sides. And it's keeping, as I said, each one of these is a karmic loop. And they're now saying that these are multiple different loops, that it's not just one thing, that it's in a lot of areas. Okay. So yeah, and then once you kind of realize how powerful you are when you bloom, that's when real change happens. So this one they're saying I just need 3. One, 2, nope. That one. All right. Hey, that came out last time too. How does this go? Hold up. This one, this one, this one. This one to this one. Am I right? Yes. Okay. Okay, so here we have Inner Temple. And in the Inner Temple came the Queen in reverse. It was like, how do we go from, it starts from the Hermetic Tarot, works to the Magician, through the Citadel, the fantasy. So the Four of Swords is all about that being angry at something, like it's not fair, staying up at night. Remember, it was like, make sure that you sleep as well. The Queen says determination and sacrifice. That's, I'm hearing, because remember how it went from not being the Knight of Wands, right, needing to work into the Queen of Swords energy. So there's the Queen, and look, there's a sword that goes right through it. So how do you go from sitting up all night, seeing the problem, letting it affect everything, taking away your power, making you feel like you need to give up so much of everything that there's no answer, that it is, I'm hearing culture, it's just the way the culture is, but that's not quite true. So there is a need to go within, right? You go into the inner sanctum, and from the inner sanctum, it taught you to not go in and rush into things. The more and more that you think you see, the more and more you realize that you don't see. Because if you were to have rushed in, you would have missed the key signs, they say. And here we have fate. There's a whole bunch of red cords tying up these hands. And then here we have a pair of scissors that come along and cut these cords. It really wanted you to feel like you are trapped in this mental prison, that you have no say in the direction or decision makings or how resources even are. Now they're kind of showing like Nestle, how they just take lake water and then charge us for it. But that's already something that's like a human basic right, that I don't think you should charge others for that. So if you had gone out there and you just fight just to fight, it's not really going to help, because now you're this like minor inconvenience, right? You're going out there, you're fighting, you're causing problems. Right now the cops might have to get called or things like that, right? Protesters, you've seen the peaceful ones and then you've seen others. It's that kind of energy, and learning how to navigate it. If you just go out there, fought hot and fiery to fight, that's karmic. That's just you burning, that's making you think that I'm suppressed, that I need to fight you to get back that energy. but that's not true. And so, right, we've got so much sword energy coming in. There's a little bit of, it's a mental thing. Don't run based on emotions. It's saying to think about it. Because the more and more you think and you just observe and you look at how things are, try to forget what you already know and just view and ask, why do we do this? And you'll see. I see more observation, mental clarity. And then you'll notice a pattern that's just a little bit different. Right? Because the more and more you pull yourself back, then you can see a huger picture. You can see the past and what happened and how the past influenced the present moment. It's so important to know our past, but not to focus on the past. And then in the present moment, we are so used to like patterns and repetitive loops, right? We have the Seven of Pentacles, which is Lord of Success Unfulfilled. It's tried in many, many areas, as this said. Because from this seclusion, it goes to the pathless. It wants you to think that you can't take fate into your own hands, that you're not the queen of your own destiny. We have these little cords and things, and, you know, it's almost like, hey, we went to the lake and we bottled this water for you. You should be very thankful for us for doing all this work. But at that, we're going to charge water to be even more expensive than the price of gas per liter. And that's just crazy because, well, we need water. We don't need gas, but now we're just going down another avenue. We do, but not as much as water. I would prefer water or coffee. But yeah, so from the pathless, it's like everyone, I'm seeing all these paths. These were paths that were actually cords, and they were karmic, and they were a little bit toxic, and deciding I'm not gonna keep doing what these bonds that keep me isolated and trapped and dependent. I'm going to not choose those paths anymore. So now it's pathless, and that says difficult decisions, a lack of direction. Well, the only reason why there's a lack of direction is because you haven't really got to do your own thing when you want and how you want. And so once you kind of free yourself from these needing of these outside things, you're gonna have to face a lot of tough decisions. You are. And so that's why they're saying like lack of direction. Say the first direction for you to tap into, right, is your source energy, right? Because you're the weaver of this creation. And so I feel like as this one kind of goes back into these weeds and these tumbles and the in-between gears, I see that almost as these two. And that's almost like the outlines. So you're pathless. Well, just start creating. Just start drawing. And I feel like wherever your heart, I almost see your heart does the colorful inside drawing. But I feel like the outline or just the outline is almost like your body intuitively goes to the right places at the right time. I feel like you might be drawn to go just for walks or something. I don't know. It's physical. So something to do with physically, right? You tap into your source. You tap into your power. You realize that nothing outside of you is going to make you whole, that you just connect to your higher self, which is what I call my power. Because my higher self is connected to that main source. It's never frayed and twisted or bent or got its ego boosted. It's that pure source. So when you can connect to that, it can give you really good advice and guidance and take you to the right places at the right time. And so the pathless is to choose your own path. And so that's what I see. Like you are drawn to these places to speak, to do whatever. And those are the outlines. What you wake up in your everyday 3D. But then when you do it with heart, when you do it with joy and happiness and purpose and determination, because now we have this Queen of Swords, right? And she was not about the heart. She was like, I go out there, I have thought about this, I've been calculated and in control this whole time. And so how can we bring the heart back? I feel like you can't really bring the heart into it until the cords or the attachments in the mental war, the mental loop, is broken first. So we really do need to take destiny or fate into our own hands. And so here it says accepting help and guidance. And so when I said accepting help, I feel like that's your higher self. But I feel like hands, a handout or hands or something is very important in this reading. So to start over here, right, they saw something and they were like, we got to fight this. Like, I feel like it's just not fair, right? And it's like, what's not fair is that all these cords are tied up on these hands, that they've kept them secluded and isolated. I felt drawn to look over here when I said secluded and isolated, and I was drawn to her hands. Her hands look very cold. And that's what they say, like when you've been away from your source for too long, it does make you feel very cold. It makes you feel very frozen. And to have like a block of ice, to go from the imagination up, or energy of like fiery to frozen like that, is such an extreme drastic change. They're showing that's how we become a little bit dependent on others outside in unhealthy situations. That's how we create these karmic bonds and ties, because when we are in really frozen, isolated energy, it's hard to feel that warmth, to feel warm again. So if you found that you have been dependent on this one, accepting help from the giants that kind of kept all these cycles and plates spinning, right? They're the ones, they knew that they were benefiting off someone else's energy, off of someone else's creation. We took their spark and their creation. We told them, you're not a creator, that we are the creator, we're the creative people, and we've thought of so many creative ways to help you thrive and survive. Now buy this bottle of water. And so accepting help, I see that as you cutting these cords. And it's saying be nice to yourself. Because I see someone getting like really annoyed that they even found themselves in that situation. And it's like, I think I said earlier that these things happen before we were even born. Like it's things that we're born into. It's like culture or something like that. So once you free the outside things, you tap to yourself. Oh yeah, we were talking about hands and being like cold and isolated. And then look at this card. This card has the golden hand. That's source. That's... This one's called the Pathless. You don't know which way to go? Well, you connect to your higher self. Because like I said, that higher self is connected to source, to the energy that feeds everything. So I don't know about you, but I would rather connect to the source of everything that feeds everything rather than a fake, not real person who then connects to their higher self, to the everything self. Because there's multiple fractures they're showing. Because there's so many people in that. And all those people don't agree. And maybe that's why there's so many different wheels, they said. There's so many different... Oh, okay, I didn't understand that earlier, but that's making sense now. Because it's a business or something, but maybe there's like multiple partners, and those partners have multiple dreams and multiple ways about doing things. And I don't know, but I see the thorns blooming. Papa. And from that, it I'm hearing just like your demons, or your slaying the giants, or whatever that thing is, that David and Goliath moment that stops it all. Because it all kind of started with Christmas. So just let me think about the 12 days of Christmas again, because I keep hearing about the sugar plum fairies. Oh, there's no fairies in this reading. Why are they coming through? Okay, as the song kept playing, I heard it, and I almost saw it as like it went back to the giants, the giant company, or just whatever your giant is. The giant being like, I've got all these things, right? I've got 12 of these, 11 of these, 10 of these, and it's like, well, what about this, right? Oh, let me help you with this and this and this and this. But I just kept seeing it as and like having only one house, and that one house just being so full with so much stuff. And it's like, we don't need all this stuff, that this is like extravagance and abundance, but like a waste. And it's like, that's what that strife is. It's like everybody, it should be evened out. This person needs that. This person needs 2 of those. This one has one to give to this one. Like, that's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing just like people have things that other people need that they want to let go of, and those people letting go, and everything balancing out in the end. Like, there really is something for everyone of what everyone wants. Not everybody wants the same things. And yeah, so that's where that balance will come from. 4 of Swords, that overthinking. It's like, I really need this, but I don't know, just have that mindset that like whatever you lack, like somebody else has and they need to get rid of. And it's like a cycle of everything. So now it's going back to this fate, accepting help and cutting the cords from the outside things, where it's like, I have what you need and you need to come to me, and I'll decide if you're worthy enough of it, kind of energy. Whereas the other one's like, yeah, but this person already gave it to me and I already helped them with this and I knew this, and I don't know, something more smooth. And then we end it all up on you. Once you start connecting to the other people, that's when the heart now comes in, because it's all mind at the beginning, as I said. And how does the Queen of Swords get into this heart creation? There is that block, there is that iceness. What does that even mean? I heard niceness and ice. That's the iceness. And that niceness, once you kind of go to someone who's been so secluded and cold and in a hard time situationship or whatever, and you give that niceness to them, that starts the melt of the ice. And the more and more that people connect and help and, you know, start doing that, that's when the heart fire, this Knight of Wands, can kind of come back in, right? It's going to come at, not so coming in hot, it's going to come at a balanced pace. Yeah, right, because fire coming in could just burn everything down, but we've got this mind and the heart and purpose as to what we create now. So it all comes back down to this very last card, and it says, Lord of the root of the powers of earth. I'm hearing, they said it was a very twisty labyrinth, a very hard karmic cycle to get through, but it took multiple tries and a lot of hope, they say. That it actually, I'm seeing very much darkness. I'm seeing it like trick. Like I said, this is a labyrinth now. And it was meant to trick and confuse and keep you stuck in here. But now I'm seeing on the top here, there's this little black cross with wings, whereas there's a white cross in the middle. And I feel like that's just the one piece that you fly it in and it fits in there. And then all of a sudden, it just like, it's almost like it was created so that you stay trapped in it. There is no exit on this. You will be in there forever and you can never escape. But once this kind of goes back in, it's just like, and then like, I feel like there's a door here, a door here, a door here, a door here. Like all of these are escape outs. And I feel like that these are the doors for some people. I feel like some people have, I'm seeing like that corporation where it's like multiple people in it. And I saw it as multiple people have kind of sold their souls, and they've been tied up, and that they're in these loops. And I feel like once the thorns, once the roots and everything go through, once the earthly power and the person that has the ability to tap into the earth's power and resources is nature. So man, not a company coming in and bottling it up for us. So I see people coming back to their heart. I'm seeing someone be like, ooh. It started off good. It did. It started off with pure intentions, and really wanting to help. But I see someone who is like very young in that energy, and especially in a business world, they started off very fresh and young, and they're like, I'm gonna cause change. I'm gonna help create change. But they got in there and they were like entry level, and they realized, oh, like people aren't as kind and focused on real change and helping the world as the outside appearance says. And so with it kind of has like greed and all those kind of things kind of trickle down. And now I see them as like old. They're like seniors or something in this level. And so that's where I saw the hand, and the hand looked very old to me. And so I saw someone just like focusing on their hands, and they're like what have I done kind of thing. And the history, you can't hide. There's something to do with hands and hands being tied, but I feel like this person's hands were never tied, that they slowly shifted into it. So now that they're older, they look themselves in the mirror and they're just like, it was ice there for a while and it's starting to melt. And when it melts, they look in the mirror and not really recognizing the face anymore. And so I feel like a little bit of, like they said, sold their soul for like money or a higher position or something. And I see those changing and stopping and twirling and whatever. But the main thing, that piece coming back, I feel like freshness is coming. I feel like more color in this, more direction. And really it just says keep focusing on your higher self, connect to your source. So at the beginning of this, we start off all mental. It's breaking that mental loop, that cycle, and being like, just seeing things clearly. Let me view this situation without emotion. Let's not rush into it. I just wanna kind of see what the hell is really going on. And then from there, it's being like, ooh, I didn't realize that I had given up my control or my power so easy. And I didn't realize that I was hurting or harming those around me by not being present, not being loving to them. And so you break those bonds and you start to go your own path. You start to come out of isolation because you've observed for so long. And it's like, what do I want to do? And you tap into your higher self, and your higher self says, I want to create, I want to dream, and I want to imagine. And I don't want to do that part-time. I don't want someone to take all my time, attention, and energy and leave me depleted at the end of the day, and then very rarely get to dream or create. We want that to be our main thing, because by tapping into that, like I said, I felt like it was a heart-centered thing and a physical thing. It's almost like being intuitively connected to this source, and this source guiding you to the right place at the right time to do the right thing. And so from that, it means you're rooted very well, right? Because that's that physical thing. And when you physical, that's more like root. That's more your root chakra. And by feeling secure in your body to actually have that intuition and pull, I feel like it takes a lot of things to actually get that clear channel, right? And that's because you need to sleep better, you need to eat better, you need to listen, you need to calm the emotions, but we are breaking out of that mental loop. And so all of that, it's been a healing journey for you. And I don't feel like that there's much like fighting and everything that needs to happen with this. Remember, the first one was like, not fair. And then it went to freeing yourself, to just reaching out to spirit. And here, the Lord of Unfulfilled. I feel like you're going to be guided to the right place. And so your roots are going to be so strong. As this one said, Lord of the roots of the power of earth. So no matter where you walk, those were your outlines. And so from there, the wind comes, things try to blow you, you are this strong and stable tree, right? You're very rooted. And then so from those outlines now, right, I'm showing me how like the branches could reach as far as the roots grow, and that balance in between. So we have source coming in and we've got roots. So here now in the physical, you'll be drawn to the right place to dream and create and add color from your heart. And I think that's a beautiful message. So we'll leave it there. Have a good day, guys. We'll see you next time.